You are now listening to the fastest show on iSports Radio. My name is Darryl Kinsey Jr. Welcoming you to taking a lap of the extra mile for today, March 17th, 2025. And for some things, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And help me talk about all of that. Of course, my co-hosts, Michael Ward, Chris Hurley.
Good evening. Good evening.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend ahead of you.
Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter live, or listening to the re-air, wherever you get your podcast. We're going to pay some bills real quick. We'll be right back with more right after this.
For the last 10 years, iSports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iSportsRadio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Chris, and Michael joining you this evening. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the Formula One Australian Grand Prix. And this is the one that is kind of the impetus for the episode name today, which is the more things change, the more they tend to stay the same. Lando Norris continues his winning ways from the end of last season. And meanwhile, we're all scratching our heads at whatever Ferrari thought they were doing with strategy.
We'll let Michael handle that because he is the in-house, historically always been a Ferrari fan. Darryl, you are new this year. So let's let Michael take this one.
Michael, the floor is yours to rant.
Shit, I don't think even Darryl wants to join Ferrari this year after this. So what was one thing we said that Ferrari did not have at the beginning of the year?
Strategy.
No, we said they had no excuses.
Oh, that too.
They had no more excuses. They had the team. Well, now I don't know about that. They have the resources, and they have the drivers. What was that? Not even this whole weekend, everything past Friday, what was that?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Where between free practice 2 all the way up to the race, where did the pace go? That's one question I have. 2 is during the race, when the rain was coming down, I know you want to gamble, but at the same time, you are not known for getting your gambles right. So why didn't we consolidate points and bring our guys home 5th and 7th? Oh, instead we gambled, found out our gamble isn't going to work, and then boxed, and now our guys are 9th and 10th behind a Sauber, behind a Williams, behind a Racing Point. I'm saying we as in Ferrari fans, we are P7th in the Constructors' Championship. How long is it till we have to become a joke? Are we going to be a joke? Like, honestly?
Well, I told Chris this earlier. Ferrari at this point are the Dallas Cowboys of Formula One.
And I agree with you on that, which is we embarrassed ourselves today. We have so many new fans coming over that are following Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, oh my God, this is how bad you guys are. This was not a race that needed to happen. And I'm not gonna lie, I know I say this every time Ferrari F's up. I'm gonna give them 4 races. I can't do this no more. I genuinely can't do this no more. It's actually affecting my mental health.
I think I've got something for that when we get to NASCAR as well, because Lord have mercy. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you look at what Ferrari did, and Chris, it's bad when even the people that traditionally do not like Lewis Hamilton go, what the heck was Ferrari doing? They didn't help their drivers at all.
Yeah, and actually my mic was muted, but I was going to say, unfortunately, Jen's not here to defend herself, but I think she knows exactly what you're going through because she's a Cleveland Browns fan. And myself, as a Bengals fan, I know what you're going through as well, Michael.
Commanders fans, we've lived
hard
it.
To stay. It's hard. See, the thing is, sometimes they look competent when they play.
That's true.
Other than Ferrari, just isn't competent. It's like they're fast but not competent. And I really want to know how the rest of Italian motorsports are doing, because the WEC team got a 1-2-3. Ducati won the opening race, but we're here 7th and 9th, 7th and 8th. That's where Hamilton finished. I think 10th. It was 10th. Yeah, that's abysmal for Lewis Hamilton standards.
Well, I think we knew going into it, at least, that we shouldn't set Hamilton's bar too high for the first handful of races.
I know,
because think about it. He didn't actually drive that car to what you would consider its potential or his potential in it. He wasn't full throttle until Q1 of qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
Qualifying. Nobody during any of the practices was touching their qualifying times. I mean, they're within a couple seconds, obviously, but nobody was throwing down race pace laps. So you got to think Lewis Hamilton turned his first laps, outside of a 2-lap stint in race on Sunday. So, you got to take his first 2 or 3 finishes with a pinch of salt. 10th place is not terrible, considering that it was terrible weather and him and his race engineer, which we can talk about, did not get along.
No,
Yeah,
they
didn't.
And it was Charles and Lewis that were having the issues with, and this has been a problem for a few years. The Ferrari engineers are always talking on the radio, and rarely are they saying anything that helps the drivers. Correct. And you could really tell Lewis was getting extremely frustrated. Charles is kind of he's dealing with it now, but Lewis at one point basically told the guy to shut the F up.
He told him to shut the F up multiple times. It could be because the broadcast kept playing it. And then there was the whole thing with Leclerc with there's a leak and they told him that it was the water. Pardon my French, but no shit.
That's a $10,000 fine, Chris. All right.
I don't know if anybody listened to Max radio, man, he did not hold back punches on his radio. I heard him drop the F-bomb like twice in 2 seconds.
Really? Damn, I wish I could have heard that.
You can. It's because they were talking about the tire strategy, and he's just like, well, F word this, yeah, F word, let's do it.
I think Max would officially be able to survive Modern Warfare 2 lobbies in 2008.
He was in them, that's why.
But
except we're a little older than him, so he was like the prepubescent kid in there talking about boning our moms and stuff.
Oh yeah, he was a little squeaker in the chat that we all got annoyed about.
Yeah, he got muted real quick.
Yeah, yep. But like, what I don't know. I'm so frustrated, and also I'm just so embarrassed. Like I said, to our new fans who joined the Tifosi,
they knew.
They knew, but it's like they didn't. We had a chance to show them that we are bad, but we're not horrible. No, this was horrible. So the 4 races, turn it around. Or else I'm watching Porsche dominate Wick.
Well, at least the WEC team.
They're dominating IMSA. They're not dominating Wick.
At least the WEC team seems to be strong. I think we can all say that. That car was absolutely dominant. And even the cars in IMSA, in GTD and GTD Pro, they did well in IMSA, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But on the positive note, as we go down some of the teams and what they did, Yuki Tsunoda, in a contract year, had his best race as a pro. Stayed in the top 6 until the dying breath of that race with the changeable conditions. He really looks like he should have got that Red Bull seat. He really looks like
he was trying to make that statement that race.
Yeah, he needs to be in Formula One next year with somebody, maybe even Cadillac in that 11th car.
I don't know. I'm hearing a lot about they're trying to get Perez, Ricardo, Herta in that car.
I could see Herta. I could see Perez. I wouldn't do Ricardo unless you're looking for vibes. Like, that's all Ricardo has at this point is vibes.
Yeah, you can go to NASCAR. I think he'll have fun there.
I was muted. I would love Ricardo to come run for Dale Jr. We know that he's a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. And I would even if he came over for like a one-off, running like Watkins Glen or something, just bring him in like a Project 91 type situation, but in Xfinity with Dale Jr. or running, Dale Jr.'s entry into Cup. But just bring the guy over for one ride.
Mm-hmm.
Get him like a Wrangler. Give him the Dale Earnhardt paint scheme, whichever one he wants, and just let the dude roll.
Yeah. Going over some more of the undercards. Williams looked absolutely incredible. Poor Carlos Sainz. And look, Echo joining us in the chat once again, fresh off the Crux Cup Open GP. We'll have a review of those results in just a bit. But as far as Formula One, Williams, I think, is for real. I think they are the kings of the mid-pack this year. And I think if Carlos hadn't had what seems to be a throttle issue, if you listen to what he said, he had a sudden spike of torque. Doesn't have a throttle issue, I think they both finish in the points.
The team confirmed that there was an issue. There was, I believe it was something with the gearbox, some sort of like basically like a power surge.
That's such bad luck.
Which that kind of happened to a couple of the. I mean, I'm not going to call out the younger guys, but because Carlos had the same thing happen, but this rain caught a lot of people out. I don't know if it's just the early season spider webs that needed a little workout or what, but if we're going to talk about a lot of, Fernando Alonso. You had, I think it was like 6 cars retire, and they were mostly single car accidents. There was one where it was 2 cars. I think that was Alonso and
Doohan.
No, I don't think it was Doohan, was it?
Doing
Was it Lawson?
Lawson.
Alonso and Lawson, maybe.
Yeah, Alonso, Lawson.
Maybe Alonso.
For the
Alonso
rookies,
had an issue. Lawson also had one. Doohan also just got it off got an inch off the road, and it sent them around. We've heard a lot of conversation, none of it good, about the Pirelli wet weather tires, and it showed again today, where it seemed like I guess you could say Saturday, where the intermediate just was not handling the rain, and nobody wanted to put the wet tire on for whatever reason.
Yeah, because is the inner the new compound, or was it just the wet?
I think the wet also had a new compound, but nobody wanted to test it.
Yeah.
So one rookie that did, however, excel was Kimi Antonelli. Went from 12th to I think 5th during that race. And Chris, he had some.
I thought it was 16-4.
Yeah, 16 to 4th. Sorry, wrong driver.
Yep.
But he put on some good passes during the race.
Yeah, and we're gonna cue one up here in just a moment. And it's actually when he takes P4 from Alex Albon, which this video is coming right from the Formula One Twitter account. So, I mean, it's freely available. Just give me 1 second to cue that up. I got quite a few things ready to go here. So
I see it.
You guys see it?
Yep, I'll go ahead and bring it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to. Yep, perfect. I don't know if I can really make it bigger, but.
You can full screen. Hit that full screen button. There you go.
There we go. Just.
Take a look at it one more time. He makes this look real easy.
He does.
Goes to the outside and right around Albon like he was sitting still.
Yeah. And the reason that I thought that it was pretty important to show that, which there we go. This dude threw it around the outside. Oh, that got real close.
I'm trying to fix we had a little bit of an issue here, so give me one moment. But keep going.
I have a big forehead. There it is again.
There we go. Lord, I found our layout.
There we go.
Right,
okay, pin that. So I think that was important. We gave the proper credit, Larry. Proper credit was given. That was courtesy of Formula One. That was right on their Twitter page. Thank you very much, Formula One. But that was important because this is Kimi Antonelli's first race in Formula One. He throws it around the outside like Max in Brazil back in 2017. But what I think impressed me the most was that underbraking leading into the corners, into that tight S-bend. That kid was fearless, and he threw it in there basically full throttle. That takes some cojones. And I think that move stuck out to a lot of people just because of how much faith and how fearless he had to be to do that. So I think Kimi Antonelli just kind of showed the field like, hey, I'm here. That was my moment to show you guys I'm the real deal. I'm good. And that was a message to the rookies that, like, I'm the boss.
Yeah, like before I was like, who's Kimi Antonelli? And then when that race happened, I was like, I understand it now.
We were sorry, Kimi Antonelli. We were not familiar with your game.
Yeah, we didn't know you had that dog in you.
Before we go to break, one rookie just had a heartbreaking day. Isaac Hadjar, trying to get ready for his first Grand Prix. Nerves were probably there. And he made
a mistake.
And ends up putting the car in the wall. We are not going to even, because Chris was even going to read it. I don't even think we should do that. We're not even going to address what Helmut Marko said, other than he is an asshole and he will not be remembered when he passes. That's what we're going to say about Helmut Marko. Instead, we're going to show what true sportsmanship looks like with what Anthony Hamilton, not the singer, the father of Lewis Hamilton, did, where he went and consoled Isaac after what was just a soul-crushing moment for the kid. And while Chris cues that up,
I don't
Michael,
have that.
I'll find it. But while we sit there and find that, Michael, a lot has been said about the Hamilton family. What you can't take away is their humility.
Nah, you certainly can't take that away. And it's at the end of the day, Hadjar isn't his kid, but he saw that he was heartbroken, and just decided to do something about it. So decided to tell him, there'll be other races, there'll be other chances. Don't keep your head up. And I think moments like that is something the public eye, and I'm talking about the entire world, should take a note of. Sometimes a moment like that can really change somebody's life. Yes.
This one moment, you see it on the screen. This is credit again to FOM. This is the type of moment right here that will change the entire trajectory of Isaac's career. And you just got to, it's a class act move by Anthony Hamilton to do this, because he didn't need to do this at all. He was just in the right place in the right time and said, I'm going to do the right thing, which is go over and talk to this kid and tell him that he's going to have a long career ahead of him. Now, we're not going to talk about Sky holding the camera on him for 15 minutes, but he'll have another chance.
Yeah, so just to kind of build off what you said, obviously we are not going to dignify what Helmut Marko said, but I do want to read what Anthony Hamilton said. And he said, I was just trying to give him some encouragement. I basically said, hold your head up high, man, because you've worked since you were 8 years of age to get to this position. This is one of the most devastating things, obviously, that can happen to a driver. But there's more to come, and you've already shown that you deserve to be here on the grid. So just hold your head up high, hold your shoulders back, and walk tall. That is what a mentor says to a protege, not what his own team mentor said.
So next race up for the Formula One Grand Prix, for the Formula One World Championship will be the Chinese Grand Prix. Second time that race has been on the schedule after a long absence. This race is going to be pretty much a strategy-defined race. Not a lot of passing zones here in China. It'll be interesting to see what teams rebound and what teams capitalize off the Australian Grand Prix. You can watch that at way too early o'clock on ESPN2. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to see some of the best racing in Australia all weekend, and it had nothing to do with Formula One. We'll talk about this on the other side of the break here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm. single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
And we're back here in the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Chris, and Michael here with you this evening. And as we head into segment number 2, we're going to get right to the Supercars Australian Grand Prix Showcase. Chris, this was one for the ages.
With the exception of Sunday that got rained out. Absolutely. This was 3 solid races. They all had a great storyline throughout each one of them. And to be honest with you, Thursday is one that NASCAR fans should go watch themselves. I say this every week, but the Supercars membership on YouTube, $6.99 a month. Easily the best subscription you will ever get, with the exception of F1 TV, maybe. But Supercars is worth it. And the racing on Thursday had a mid-pack battle, a 5-way battle for, I think, like positions like 11 through 16, somewhere kind of in that range. It was basically probably 10 to 15 laps out of a 19-lap race of just pure action in the mid-pack. Brock Feeney and Will Brown, who are Red Bull Ampol Racing, they were so out there. The broadcast, I think they got maybe about a minute of time in the broadcast, but the rest of it was focused on that mid-pack race. And it was just awesome because they were trading punches. I think out of the 5 cars that were kind of in that race, I think each car was in each position for at least a lap or 2 each. It was just crazy.
I watched race 4 back, and it just felt like from about lap 4 on, it's like everybody just took their crazy pills at once. And there were cars, they almost got 3 wide at one point, but they were really off in the dirt. Some people were getting turned around. It was a lot of fun. That podium ends up being Brock Feeney, Will Brown, the Red Bull Ampol team, coming back with a vengeance, and Cam Hill from Matt Stone Racing rounding out the podium, getting his first ever podiums. That's always fun to see. But the points leader, Cam Waters, driver of the day, 22nd to 6th.
Yeah. And Cam Waters, we'll talk about it with races 5 and 6 as well, but he swept the opening weekend in Sydney. He first place in all 3 races. And then he comes back, and I believe Thursday, his 22nd to 6th was his best result of the weekend. So he fell off big time here in Melbourne, going from sweeping 3 races to then following that up with a terrible weekend in the 3 races that went on. So a weekend to forget for Cam.
Yeah,
that
the Australian.
Cam anyway.
Yeah, with supercars, the hits just keep on coming. When you're on a hot streak or when you get on a cold streak, like what happened with Cam Waters this weekend, because you're going to have to go back out there the very next day and try to figure it out. Unfortunately, he was unable to. Cameron Hill gets his first podium on Thursday, and then you go into race 5 on Friday. Well, all he does is go and get his first career win on the same weekend. So his first 2 career podiums, one of them is a victory in a Matt Stone Racing 1-2.
Yeah. And that was great. He follows that up with his first win. Matt Stone, they basically dominated the race. It wasn't quite as eventful as race 4 on Thursday, but it was still a really good race. And Cam Hill and Nick Percat, they were just up there at the front the whole time. Percat did a great job of keeping pressure off Cam Hill, and Cam Hill breezed to it. It was a great weekend. If you're with Red Bull Ample or Matt Stone Racing, you had a great weekend. This was a weekend for the books for either team.
And we go into race number 6 of the weekend. Will Brown filled out the podium for Red Bull Ample Racing in race number 5. And in race 6, third verse, same as the first, almost, with Will Brown and Brock Feeney going 1-2. But that last lap battle for third was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and we'll pull up a video courtesy of the Supercars membership. It's on YouTube, again, $6.99 a month, and it is a great value. You get, it's like Formula One, F1 TV, where you get all of the previous seasons. You get previous seasons with Supercars, and they put everything into nice, ready to go videos. All the races are streamed live, so make sure you check out Supercars on YouTube. And we are going to play the last half a lap or so. That's where it really got good. For race 6, and you're going to see Nick Percat defending against Kostecki and Davison. And Percat is having a car issue. His car is smoking the whole lap, and he puts on a defense for the ages, having car issues. So I'm going to get that loaded up here in just a second. Should be coming up.
Just go ahead and hit the full screen.
Here. He needs every point he can get at the moment. He passed Di Pasquale on the last lap. I think it might have been the last corner of Thursday night's race. He's qualified better for tomorrow's race, and a little bit of telltale smoke here for Nick Percat. That checkered flag can't come soon enough for him. The margin, in fact, he may not get there with the sort of drama that's going on here for him. Whatever is unfolding with Percat looks evil. Matt Stone's got a concerned problem look on his face, and is he going to survive it? Is it a power steering issue or something more sinister? Unfortunately for Percat, I think he's going to get eaten up down the inside here by Kostecki, and he is. He might even to fend off a closing Will Davison. What a shame for the Bendix entry. He's back on the inside, though. He is not giving up. What a fantastic, valiant effort to be able to hold on. We've got one corner to run in Melbourne for our third supercar race, and it's going to fall to Will Brown. But what about a mighty performance here for Percat, who refuses to concede? He's not giving up. He's fighting hard to get himself back on the podium, and I think he's been able to do it. What a masterful performance.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done, Nick Percat, against...
And that is why the Supercars, V8 Supercars, I still call them their old name. Supercars, the Australian Supercars Championship is probably the best stock car championship right now. Every race so far this season has been a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to race 4, that type of action was every lap, but with 5 cars back on Thursday. So if you get the opportunity to go back, watch race 4. But that is a weekly occurrence with Supercars. It is a great series if you like action, especially these sprint races that are just, a handful of laps each. They're great. Then you get to like the endurances where we talk about Bathurst 1000 and stuff like that. Those are equally as exciting for opposite reasons. But yeah, you cannot go wrong becoming a Supercars fan.
So the next race for the Australian Supercars Series, I'll get that pulled up here. They have a little bit of a break before their next race as they wrapped up pretty much one of their biggest races in running in front of the Australian Grand Prix crowd. The next race will be the ITM Taupo Super 440, which will be April 10th through the 13th. That'll be multiple races for 440 kilometers in total. That'll be at the Taupo International Motorsports Park in New Zealand. Race 8, 9, and 10 of the championship that can be seen on YouTube or live or whenever you want. As Brandon Buck says, evening, boys. And hey, we actually got Twitter comments.
Yeah.
Finally showing up on here. Thank you, StreamYard.
I was chatting Larry up when Larry and Mike were doing some draft coverage, the NFL draft, and my Twitter comments were not going through. So I'm glad to see that is back up and working.
Yes.
Also, Larry B, they said it couldn't be done, but Cincinnati signs Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. News broke at like 11 p.m. last night. I was like getting ready. I was setting my phone alarm to go to bed, and I get a Twitter message like, "Holy shit, it's done!" Crazy night for all the Bengals fans out there, including myself. So we got it done. Hooday, baby.
Well, I hope you all are going to score 50 points a game because
we're going to have to.
You're going to need it.
We're going to have to.
Yeah.
Our defense is going to be basically whatever local high school team can lend us a few players.
Yeah, they're going to need the training staff out there to play defense, unfortunately. But before we go to break, the Crux Cup had their Open GP early Sunday morning. I got up way too early to check that out. It was a lot of fun. We're going to go over the results, which are now official as of today in all 3 categories. And we will start with the Open GP, and these results are by team. So Southern Cross Alliance picks up the win in what was an incredible open class race. The pole sitting duo there. So I'm going to bring this up so I can actually see it because I thought it was going to be bigger on that screen. It is not. Dupe and Astromedic led the race from the offing, but Astromedic about halfway through that race, collision put him behind. Dupe was able to go on and take the win for himself and team with Frontier, Consolidated, and Turbo.
I just need to interrupt and say that Astromedic might be the most badass online name I've ever heard.
There's plenty of name Hall of Fame folks in here. I will say that. They
that
do
goes
it
from Australia.
Yes.
Does Echo like supercars?
Let's see. Echo, do you like the Australian Supercar Series?
Better say yes.
While we go through this, there's your open results on the screen. We'll switch now to the Aurora classes, a single make category where the 509s picked up the win with Luigi 509 and Chio Setsuna picking up the win, Test Racing Team, and Dad Corp. That's my favorite name. Rounding out the top 3.
That's a good one. Maybe not as good as Astromedic, but still pretty solid.
And Ego came from Assetto, Corsa, and iRacing. Good with you for sticking with iRacing. I was back in iRacing when we thought 24-hour racing was going to be like a pipe dream.
Echo, have you ever raced
it's
with?
all there.
Echo, have you ever raced with full-time sim racer, part-time Formula One driver Max Verstappen?
He's not no, he didn't call him a part-time Formula One driver.
He is basically full-time sim racer, part-time F1 driver. Michael, you can attest to that.
Oop, I've got 2 of these up. Give me
I can attest to that. He doesn't. He sim races a lot more than he drives a Formula One car.
So give me 1 second. I gotta get the heavy class results up. But while we are here, you're gonna want to join us on Wednesday. Let me get this banner out the way. You're gonna want to join us on Wednesday, March 19th, for the Crux Cup Pro GP preview show. EchoBit will be joining us with some of the stars they'll be taking to the virtual space lanes on March 23rd to compete for the largest championship in Star Citizen sim racing. So you're going to join us for the preview show this Wednesday, March 19th at 8 p.m. here on YouTube, Twitter, and twitch.tv on IE Sports Radio. And gentlemen, you are, as I get us back up on the screen, gentlemen, you are also, if you would like to join, you are also welcome to join us as well for that one. You're not, I know everyone is busy, and this is a show that is outside of our usual time, so you don't need to be there, but if you can join us, that'd be great. And Echo, and that is right, we will have some incredible pilots from all 3 classes, including Tint from the A Crux category, which is the top class. And his qualifying lap was something to watch, as he came inches from scattering space parts all over Orison. That is what I will say. I watched that clip a couple of days ago. We'll ask him about that in a moment. Or we'll ask him about that on Wednesday, as he will join us on the show. So we're going to take another break. I'm going to have to go catch that heavy class photo. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, the 12 hours of Sebring wrapped up. And in NASCAR, I think the way Michael felt is the way I'm going to feel about one of our drivers. Here on the other side of this break, here on the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Hello, IE Sports Radio family and other sports families. My name is Alden Kay, and I want to welcome you to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you're a fan of the Valley and the Grand Canyon State like me, then I've got the show for you. Tune in every week where I will update you and give you the latest news for the Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, ASU Sun Devils, U of A Wildcats, GCU Antelope, and of course, the NAU Lumberjacks. Again, if you're a Valley sports fan and like all that is desert sports like me, tune in every week here on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you then.
And we're back here in the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Just want to put a bow on one thing real quick, which was the heavy results for the Crux Cup. Punch Buggy with Herbie and Astra wrapped up the top position. A dominating performance by Herbie. Sanguis Luna and Frontier Consolidated Racing round out the top three in that category. So congratulations to all of our podium finishers in the Crux Cup Open GP. We'll have the Crux Cup Pro GP coming up on Sunday. And we get back into, from one endurance race to the other, the Sebring 12 hours. And we'll quickly go through the results in that race. And Michael, this was a race. We'll start with Aston Martin. Just calm, cool, and consistent is what they needed to do on Saturday, and they did it.
Yep, they did it, and had I don't know if they had a great time, but they definitely logged in some laps, got some valuable data, and they kept it clean out there.
Good weekend for Aston Martin,
at least for their WEC team.
Look, when the son of the boss finishes P6, they're going to throw a parade for him.
It's like a win for him. I mean, he actually did something right, so we're all happy.
It's like a reward.
That's perfect. And Michael, you need to get off TikTok every now and then. Go touch some grass.
Oh, jeez.
Shut up.
I'm kidding. I probably spend more time on TikTok than you guys.
You definitely do.
Well, I'm really quick with the share button.
Yes.
Especially anything like if I'm like scrolling and it's something about how good Max is, share.
See, I wish I could do that with Ferrari, but I really can't.
Someday.
I think if you did that with Ferrari, it would just
Someday,
be
he
raging.
says. That day will never come.
Look,
the day that comes, Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry Ferrari peaked when MySpace was a thing.
Jesus.
The sad part is he's not wrong.
I want to argue as well, but he's legitimately not wrong. I think the last time they had a decent season was when MySpace was a thing.
Yeah. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people in our chat that just got that are like, what the heck was MySpace? And on that, we're going to move on. Nick, the Porsche Motorsports, Michael, went 2 for 2 in the 36 Hours of Florida. This time, number 7 from number 6. Tandy, Vanthor, and Nasir finished in front of Jaminet, Campbell, and Estra. And that Porsche, as far as American racing is concerned, that's the car to beat right now. They're 2 for 2.
Yep, 2 for 2, and looking really. They're basically looking like how they looked last year.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest, and last year, one of them Porsches won the championship, so it's going to take a lot from Cadillac to win. And it's kind of crazy. It seems like Porsche isn't really winning off just straight pace. I think they're winning off of just strategy.
Yeah, on the other side, the Cadillacs did not have a great strategy. Wayne Taylor Racing spent more time getting penalties than they did leading the race, including a phantom contact penalty with the 10 car that pushed them down the order. Meanwhile, the Action Express car was the best of the caddies, again with Jack Aiken, Earl Bamber, and Frederick Vesti finishing in the 4th spot. But in LMP2, sweet redemption for Tower Motorsports. They had the win taken away from them due to a penalty at the Rolex 24. They come back at Sebring. They win Sebring, and Michael, this time they get to keep the win.
Yep, they keep the win, and I'm sure they're going to be having a great time with that trophy. And in GTD Pro, I believe, Rexy got her run back.
Yep, Rexy got his teeth back and got his win back, taking the win in Sebring. And in GTD AM, Windward Racing Rebounds picks up the win. Lexus also gets the podium in that category, and what was another entertaining race in the GTD ranks. However, Michael, we did not have any fireworks out of BMW and Corvette today, or Saturday. I think a month and a half off gave them time to chill.
Unfortunately, but at the same time, it's like, I guess we can be a little happy about that. No.
We'll see IMSA again in April for the Long Beach Grand Prix.
And that might be interesting.
Yes.
Ever seen multi-class on the street circuit? No? So you will now.
And especially when
I don't think so.
Yeah, especially when that tight, it's going to be a challenge for the drivers. It always is. We're going to ignore the reason Michael laughed there and just move on to NASCAR. The Pennzoil 400. And Chris, when we left last Monday, we all thought Christopher Bell was going to take the win for that one. Unfortunately, this week, he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah. He had that issue. Well, they changed something, right?
They had a tire issue and actually had to stop in the 19's box, ironically, because they also had a loose wheel during that race. And we'll talk about loose wheels in a moment, but they had a loose wheel. They had to come back, pit in the 19's box for them to tighten up the tire. And then from there, they just could not get back to the front.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was, I mean,
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
I didn't know
but he did not get penalized, so.
They probably felt bad for him. Or they were like, what are we really going to do?
So if something's wrong with your pit stall, you can stop at your teammate's pit box.
I mean, what are teams for?
That's true.
You got teammates for a reason. Christopher Bell finished 12th, but it really 13th. Felt like other than...
Oh, no, 12th. Sorry. He started 13th.
Yeah, but other than like a brief spurt in stage 2, it just didn't feel like that car had the speed at all.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, Gibbs... Well, the Toyotas really didn't have the speed. I mean, at one point, they were like the last 5... Or like out of like the bottom 7 or something, all the Gibbs cars were down in there, right?
Yeah.
So they definitely didn't have the speed, but I think it's time to bring up this fun little stat, Darryl.
Mm-hmm.
The race winner stat. So this year's race winners: William Byron, Christopher Bell, Josh Berry. Notice anything in common?
Well, for one thing.
Question.
Well, there's two things. All those drivers have B's in their last name.
Ding, 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 ding.
And all those drivers, their cars have 20 on the side of them. 24, 3 20s, and a 21.
Yes, they do. I didn't even see that one, Darryl.
I do love the number 20.
If you double William Byron, you have another B, Alex Bowman.
And he had a chance.
Yeah.
Was he another one that fell afoul of the tire? I don't remember if he also fell afoul of the tire issues.
He had a tire issue and had to pit. And then he went a lap down, fought his way back to a P7. That's respectable.
Yeah, that is a championship run for a driver that people want to fire like every week for whatever reason.
If he breathes, fire him.
Yeah, because he Because he raced for Tommy Baldwin. That's why everybody hates him.
What's
He drove
that?
the Dr. Pepper car. He's my favorite driver.
I remember that. I loved that car.
I like Dr. Pepper.
So do I.
I also like Dr. Pepper.
But Daniel Suarez, P2, that's not bad at all.
That's not.
Yeah, that was tough for him battling there with Josh Berry, who ends up winning that race. But for Berry, that is a promise finally realized for him. He was with Stewart Haas Racing. And even though that it was very obvious that team was just finishing out the motions before they went their separate ways. But we all said if he got with a team worth their salt, he was going to do great things. And he got in that Wood Brothers car. He was close last week. This week he seals the deal. And I think that's going to be the first of many wins this year for the 21.
Hopefully.
Like
It's another Dale Jr. plucked him out of nowhere pick to win.
I mean, if Dale Jr. is going to do one thing right, that's he's going to pick diamond in the rough drivers that end up being great.
Yeah.
So you've got to like that.
The more you talk about him, the more I kind of wish that Cup team would show up.
Dale Jr.?
Yeah, Junior's Cup team.
I mean, with the development he has in Xfinity, if he could move those guys to his own Cup team, it'd be great. But does he have the money for it? A, and B, will the charters even exist? Because we still have to deal with that lawsuit in December.
Well, touching on A, yes, he has the money. He was just a bigger cheapskate than the three of us combined. I mean, dude, you know the story. Like, you remember how a couple of years ago they had that TV show, him and Amy, where they fixed up that house and, like, the keys?
Yes.
Do you know the premise of why that show existed?
No.
It's because they bought this dilapidated house and the keys that they really liked. Amy did. Mm-hmm. Dale didn't want to pay for it, and he knew that he could shop it around and have a network pay for it as long as they could record it. And that's why they did it, was so that Dale didn't have to pay for the renovations. Somebody else would.
What?
That is next level cheap.
That is Hall of Fame cheap right there.
Yeah. And then they sold it for a massive profit years later. So be on the lookout for Dale and Amy's Renovation Nightmares Part 2.
You gotta love it.
Look, I watched it. I'm slightly ashamed to admit it, but I watched it.
And that's why you did it.
Yep. Suckers like me.
Yep. Ryan Blaney, however, well, let's stay with Josh Berry. I think he's a championship contender.
I think it's a little early for that, personally.
Well, I don't know. He's shown the speed, and I think all he needed is one. And I think he's gonna be one of those drivers where the wind starts snowballing. I really think that.
It could, absolutely could. I think it's a little premature yet. Give us a couple more weeks and see where he stands. What's the driver standings? I want to know where he is in points.
I'll bring that up right now. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit inflated because if you do it by the order, of regular points, he jumped up 8 spots to the 13th position by the regular season standings. William Byron continues to lead. He's grown his lead to 29, over Christopher Bell, with Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman rounding out the top 5.
Josh Berry, 13th.
Yep.
88 points. I don't know. I don't see that as granted, we're on week 5, so let's not rush to any conclusions, but Alex Bowman will be your champion. You know what? Realistically, I think your top 4 right now are probably your favorites: Byron, Bell, Reddick, and Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chase low-key had a really good year last year.
Yeah,
it wasn't flashy, but he scored good points every race, and that carried him really far.
Yeah, despite the finish, or his finishes last year, he was the highest driver in average finish.
Yeah.
and it was hard to see. Unfortunately, drivers had some trouble. On Sunday, Ryan Blaney gets involved in a multi-vehicle crash after himself, Noah Gregson, and Christopher Bell can't find where the brake pedal is when they try to go 4 wide off a restart. That started a multi-car melee, and guess who got involved as well as he was trying to come back from a slower than usual pit stop? It was Bubba Wallace again. Who had a car that could have won that race again, that got damaged and finished 28th again.
Starting to see a pattern here.
It's every early season Bubba Wallace season all over again, where they run well and then crap happens in front of them with the squirrels, to the point that a friend of mine sent me this before we get out of here. This is the average Bubba Wallace fan experience at this point.
That is, yeah. Or it's that at the beginning. You just flip out, you just bring the last one and you put that right at the front because there was an issue on pit road. He starts at the beginning or goes a lap down, and then you go, and then you just go, wow, we are fast, we can win.
Yep.
But it never happens because then there's another issue on pit road.
Man, this really sounds like being a Ferrari fan.
It's a Ferrari fan in NASCAR form. And here's what I will say. The conversations on the crew chief are better. They're going in the right direction. Despite the crash, they did gain a spot because they got 14 bonus points through the stages, which is really what's saving them right now. In fact, they have 55 stage points. That is the second highest of all drivers this season, only behind William Byron. If they could finish stage 3, they'd probably be leading the points. Or close to it. That is your silver lining you take in the next week, which will be Homestead Miami Championship.
Yep.
But the more we talk about that, just the more angrier we're going to get.
Yeah, we got to be out of here in the next 5 minutes, so we shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about that. Instead, we're going to get ready to get out of here. Remember, Wednesday at 8 p.m., the Crux Cup Pro GP preview show. Join us for all of that. I will be joined on that. Get that screen up by EchoBit and all the folks that are going to be competing in the Anzia Racing Crux Cup 2955. Make sure you follow Anzia Racing on social media as well. And thank you all for listening to this edition of The Extra Mile. Remember,
Oscar Piastri was dropped. Oh, sorry.
You can also hear the re-air of the show wherever podcasts can be heard, as well as right here on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch as video on demand. And yes, Piastri was robbed. And with that,
thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes. And with that, we're going to sign out for tonight. For Michael and Chris, I'm Darryl. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.